2,100 indictments are coming against unlawful, corrupt people, Democrats, Republicans alike, from Kash Patel, and the Democrats are losing it. I'm telling you, this is what we voted for when we put President Trump in office. Kash Patel has issued more indictments, more arrests across the board, and Trump is loving it. You wouldn't believe how corrupt Washington Congress really is now that we have Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, actually that have come out, giving us a breakdown of everything that is happening. And this is as big as it gets. I'm telling you, everybody, when the Democrats are starting to resign, Kash Patel said they are having more whistleblowers come forward trying to strike a deal for immunity for what's coming. I say still give them jail time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this right here is accountability. If you corrupt, slush fund money, stole money from the American people, you deserve to be held accountable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. 2,100 indictments are coming. Guys, if you appreciate this already, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, that right there alone, that all these indictments that are coming and have already started is happening. This insane operation is actually called Operation Summer Heat. Dan Bongino is the actual architect and leader of this operation. They have so far arrested 8,700 violent criminals. They have seized over 421 kilograms of fentanyl. They seized over 45,000 kilograms of other drugs. And this huge indictment's 2,100, baby. This is huge. And guess what? One of the biggest big name ones that's happening, the DOJ is asking a grand jury today to indict former National Security Advisor John Bolton. It's time that they all be held accountable, everybody. It is dang time that we, the American people, see the justice system do what they're supposed to do. All the while, we're still in a government shutdown. The Democrats have already preemptively sued Trump for using the tariff revenues to keep funding WIC for low-income women and children, and to use DOD funding to keep paying American troops. Where in the world does this make sense on any level? That the Democrats are already preemptively suing Trump for using additional money to take care of our people. As we said, the Senate Democrats have rejected for the 10th time, everybody, the 10th time, the Republicans' clean CR bill. John Fetterman has come out and literally called out his entire party, said they're only doing this to appease the minority. He doesn't agree with this. They've gone too far. He doesn't even recognize his own party anymore. And a lot of people are liking John Fetterman in the center and on the right. And we have word that Democrats are now going to try to primary John Fetterman because he's not falling in line. And in a beautiful bombshell announcement, border czar Tom Homan has revealed that the Trump administration has located an astonishing 23,000 children out of the 300,000 who were lost during the Biden era. Accountability is finally coming. I love this. I hope you do too. We got big breaking news for you today. I want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Y'all are the best. Thank you so much for all your support. I want to say, if you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. I want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel and those that give a super chat donation. Show Ginger Studensky some love in the chat. Welcome to the family, Ginger. And don't forget to show our boy Darren Harder some love in the chat. Thank you so much, Darren. And our boy, Mr. Norby, OG of the channel. Show them some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, this really does help our voice to get out. We're bringing you the receipts, everybody. This is huge. Not only do we have the indictments coming, more and more is coming. The more arrests are coming, and it's about dang time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is big. Check this out.
FBI, they're just going to keep doing the work.
Yeah.
There is such a stark difference between the last administration and this one. You had under Director Wray and under Joe Biden, you had folks like Catholics who attended Latin Mass, parents of school board meetings, lawful gun owners who were targeted by this administration. On the other hand, now we have a situation where you have a lot of political violence.
Yep.
Last administration, they didn't deserve it. This time around, though, are you guys taking a keen interest in investigating and placing a focus on that type of violence?
Absolutely. There's no type of violence that is going to be accepted by this FBI. But the difference between this FBI and the prior administration's FBI's is simple. We are not weaponized. We are not politicized. We are removing the fangs of weaponization. You saw what they did from everything between Russiagate and attacking Catholics and everything in between to leaking and spying on senators, unlawfully so. This FBI, under my leadership, has been more transparent than ever before. We have produced to Congress 4 times as many documents in 7 months than Comey and Wray did combined. And we're going to continue on that. My commitment to work with the American public is not just a transparency effort, but it's also to have accountability in the public forum, not just in the courts of law, to say these people corrupted our system of justice, and we're showing you how they do it, and we're showing it on everything from January 6th on.
You
I've
heard
talked to
that.
members of Congress and some staffers who said for the first time they're able to do real oversight of the FBI because you got them things in some cases that they were looking for like 7, 8 years. They're pending for 7, 8 years and you've got them there. What's the biggest surprise that you've learned since you've been in the FBI? What's the thing that surprised you most about now being its director?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I think maybe the men and women of the FBI I've known always wanted to do the work. The thing that surprised me the most is that their prior leadership allowed so many people who had a political motivation to operate a law enforcement agency. I knew there were some. Remember, I ran the Russiagate investigation.
Yeah, sure.
So I knew that there was a number of folks there. But I made a commitment to the American people and to President Trump when I got this job. We're gonna find them all. And I think there's more that we found in this FBI in these short 7 months than the American public ever even expected. And we've expelled all of them. Wow. And if there's anyone remaining that's doing a weaponization or politicization at the Bureau, they're going to be removed immediately.
Yeah. That I'm sure of.
We've known you a long time. We've had you on this show for a long time. We know you as extremely patriotic. When you have these tough days on the job, because you inherited a bear of a job, when you come across these tough days on the job, which I know is probably every day, is it transparency that keeps you going? Is it accountability? Is it a desire to see overhaul at the agency? What drives you?
It's all of the above. You know, when there's nothing that can prepare you to be the director of the FBI. I don't care what anyone says. There's no job or a sequence of jobs that gets you ready for it. What you have to do is stick to what got you here in the first place. And for me, that was a mission of accountability, not just for the criminals in the streets and terrorists and drug traffickers that are harming our way of life, but the hypocrisy at the FBI had to be shattered from prior leadership because they would not look inward because they were the ones, some of which have now been charged, who are committing the most heinous crimes against the United States of America. And that's what the American...
And again, I show you the receipts, everybody. This is a breakdown that I'm going to show you in a moment. 2,100 indictments. You cannot make this stuff up. This is so powerful, so big. We are winning at the highest level when it comes to actually holding people accountable under Kash Patel. Trump is loving it. Dan Bongino is actually the architect and one of the big leaders in this arrest of 8,700 criminals in 2,100 indictments. All this stuff that's happening, it's Trump's dream team. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this right here is why these people, we're going to see the deep state drain in what you're about to hear next. Because again, if we never hold the people within the actual company of the FBI and the CIA accountable, just like he said, they're the ones that committed some of the most heinous crimes you're about to hear right here, guys. This is what I love, full transparency. You're not going to see this on mainstream media. We're bringing you the news.
American public was ticked off at. So that motivates me more than anything else, to root out the corruption that was embedded into this FBI and restore the trust of this FBI. Past leaders talked about it and then did the opposite and embedded themselves in a system of corruption and lied and used the intelligence community and law enforcement to go after their enemies. And when they now come after us, like they did in when one of the questions we had in the Oval was, well, what about weaponization of law enforcement? It is the utter height of hypocrisy for someone like James Comey and his band of miscreants to tell me and lecture or me about how law enforcement should be when they are the ones that authored and penned the biggest criminal conspiracy in U.S. history, which was Russiagate.
Yeah, we now have Director Comey under indictment, so he's facing that accountability for the first time. I want to finish with something that obviously got a lot of attention. It got the attention because you found the records and your team got them to Congress. First were 8 or 9 members of Congress whose phone records were rifled through, and I know the FBI gets the blame for it, but actually it was Jack Smith's team that gets the subpoena and gets those. So the FBI is just doing its job. Today we also learned that there was an effort by the January 6th committee to get the FBI to take a whole bunch, I guess 30 million lines of phone records. I don't think the FBI did it, but it seems to me that Americans' phone records maybe didn't have a lot of protection during the Obama-Biden years. Are you looking at some new civil liberty protections to make sure there aren't abuses in the future?
Absolutely. We're working on a department. We've already...
Right here, everybody, I just want to show you this because this is all going to play into what you're about to hear. That right now, we showed you this yesterday, that Justice Katania Brown Jackson argued for race-based redistricting, citing that Americans with the Disabilities Act, they're disabled when it comes to minorities, Latinos, Hispanics, black people, that we have to have race-based redistricting because we're essentially disabled. That she's literally calling me disabled because I'm Hispanic. And it's insane to see this and what you're about to hear next of the DEI and how much it infiltrated the FBI, where I love what Rob Schmidt said. Years ago, it was racist to believe minorities were less than whites. Today, it's racist to believe they're equal. And that's why we need race-based redistricting. This is, what you're about to hear next is some of the most worst things I've ever heard, guys. But I want to get really quick into our sponsor real quick because, again, we're fighting against horrible things. So right now, we got open enrollment, everybody. If you are on Medicare, if you are about to be on it, they have new plans right now that are coming out in 2026 that you need to look into, need to be taken care of because things are changing. There's always ways where they're going to look at every single Medicare plan. It's free. They saved people on this channel up to one person was $1,400 on this channel, a viewer of TrueLife News, because they looked onto it. On average, $1,100 for seniors because they know what to do, they know how complicated the system is, and they have software that's built out to help get you taken care of to save money on your health insurance. Now, I don't know about y'all, but $1,100 is a lot of money, and it's free for them to do it. When you call Chapter, you're going to get taken care of, and it also supports the channel. You call 667-895-3015. They're going to take care of you. We're living in some crazy times where, again, just like what Kash Patel said, we don't fully have full trust in our federal government systems. And that's why Chapter is even alive today, to help everybody out, make sure you're on the right plan. We have Advantage plans that just disappeared, and people need to be taken care of. And that's why I support this, guys. I've looked into this. They're 100% legit. They're going to take care of you. You tell them, call them up, tell them that Joel sent you from TrueLife News, and you will be blessed. I promise. You call them 667-895-3015. They're going to get you taken care of because of this stuff right here. When there's literally complaints against 3 national health insurance companies and 3 brokers who allegedly had unlawful kickbacks and discrimination against disabled Americans, this is messed up. And this is what we're exposed to right now. And that's why I say go call Chapter. The number's in the description. The link is in the description. They're going to take care of you. And you want to go ahead and call quick because get in front of the line or else there'll be long wait times. So that's why you want to jump on it, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Sue Kamalo, let's go with the super chat. So show Sue some love in the chat. Thank you so much for your support. And our boy Jim Barbato with the super chat. Hey, game over, 100%. And don't forget to show David Meyer some love in the chat. Said, wish I had your hair. Hey, thanks for the compliment. Show David, Jim, and Sue some love in the chat.
implemented changes. We've already informed Congress we won't be grabbing their cell phone records or their staffers' cell phone records for just a sense of weaponization. We're never going to be participating in any of that. And some of the reforms we've implemented on FISA and so many other corrupt institutions that were weaponized by the likes of Comey and Strzok and Page and so many others, we've ended that regime. And they hate us for it. And the mainstream media who bought into their conspiracy theories because they hated President Trump so much that they were willing to spread fake news, they're a part of the scheme too. And we're exposing every single one of them. So the good news about this FBI, it is mission focused. It is law enforcement first. And it doesn't matter if you're red or blue or in between or where you live. We are going to come in and root out not just criminality, but corruption in every single town in this country.
Do you have time for one more?
Please. A
lot of Americans, because of controversies of the last 10 years or so, are ready to be done with the ATF. They want to see it abolished, but I know your hands are full. Would you like to at least see that those responsibilities reabsorbed by the FBI?
So look, the ATF, we work hand in glove with these guys, and I was the acting director of the ATF for my first month on the job. They're awesome. They have a mission set that we must have in law enforcement, in the 1811 special agent community, and so they're doing their job. I understand, again, in the past, the ATF was weaponized, whether it was gun running under one of the former DOJ leaders, Holder, and all this other stuff, that people are rightfully so ticked off. But here's what President Trump's doing. He's putting in leaders to restore the trust and credibility by putting these folks, whether it's at FBI or ATF, out in the field and not in Washington, D.C., to chase criminals. And I think everyday Americans are seeing that. I mean, when you see these results that we've talked about, and in some that we haven't, 5,400 children that the FBI has found and identified as a 35% increase. 4 of the world's top 10 most wanted FBI fugitives captured in 7 months. 7 months. That's the same amount as Biden did in 4 years. I think the American public is seeing when you let law enforcement, the FBI, ATF, who have you, do their jobs, it doesn't matter where they're housed. The problem was the people that were running them.
Somewhere tonight.
Let me tell you this, everybody. If we aren't seeing things change before our eyes, so right now, Democratic Party just for the 10th time has shut down, kept the government shut down. Listen to this caller from California calling in to C-SPAN, expressing their thoughts. And what I love is this is real, everybody. This ain't no game. People's lives are being affected by what the Democrats are doing right now. And I love that real people from the other side, from the center and from the left, are starting to see common sense is going to win out like crazy. Listen to this.
I think I'm going to be leaving the Democrat Party because this happens. This happens too often, where they're blaming the opposite party when they know they can do what the right thing. They need to do the right thing and reopen this government instead of keeping it shut down like they're hijacking the American people. I've seen it before. We've seen them vote the right way when they're in power. So why the hell can't they vote the right way when they're not in power? So get this government back open, get the American people what they deserve. And this is basically a Schumer shutdown from what I've seen, from what I've been watching on C-SPAN, what they show and what they show the Democrats whining and crying and blaming. That's what I see.
Let's go. Hey, B1 Sly One, thank you so much for your help. And we missed you yesterday, brother, on the live chat. What we're seeing is people are starting to not care anymore. It's not about the red. It's not about the blue. It's about America first. At the end of the day, that's what matters. And listen to this, because again, stuff is happening behind the scenes. I told you, Kash Patel revealed 2,100 indictments, everybody. If you appreciate that, you love that. If you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what I'm talking about. This is going to change everything. The swamp is being drained. They're calling in. Whistleblowers are coming out, trying to make deals. We are exposing the corruptness like never before. And especially, it goes to the race-based, all this stuff that you're about to hear next. Listen to this.
1965 that Congress enacted pursuant to the 15th Amendment, which the 15th Amendment outlaws intentional racial discrimination in voting, right? And what we've seen since 1965 are these activist judges have misinterpreted the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Section 2, to create these DEI districts, these House districts where you have Black or Hispanic Democrats who control these districts. And let's just be very plain here. Mark Elias, these other Democrats do not care about minority representation. They care about Democrat representation. If we had a Black member of Congress who's a Republican, they would chase that Black member of Congress out yesterday. So let's just be very clear with what we're dealing with here. So this is before the court. Louisiana has a map where they had 6 districts. One of them was majority minority. One of them was a Black district out of the 6. The courts challenged, they challenged this in the courts, and then they came to 2 districts, right? And now it's before the court, and the Supreme Court heard oral argument today whether under Section 2, if you're considering race as the issue, whether that violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and violates the 15th Amendment's guaranteed of outlaw of intentional racial discrimination in voting. It looks like the Supreme Court is finally going to end this Democrat charade where they have these DEI districts that, again, they don't care. These Democrats do not care about racial discrimination. They care about Democrat power. And so the Supreme Court, I think, is going to hold that this interpretation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that requires DEI districts violates the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and maybe the 15th Amendment. That's where this is likely heading. And that means that the Congressional Black Caucus and the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, these 2 Democrat caucuses, are going to get a lot smaller.
They know, with all the discussion of how gun-decked the census was and doing a new...
Guys, I'm telling you, this is coming. And also in the chat, if you cuss, I will block you. Family-friendly chat, stop cussing. You can use other words. It doesn't take that. Right here, Supreme Court signals it is poised to strike down the race-based VRA congressional districts that heavily favor who? The Democrats. And this is where it's coming from. He said the court's conservative judges have long pointed to what they have viewed as a tension between the Voting Rights Act goal of protecting minority vote rights and colorblind conception in the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause, which requires that the law treat everyone equally. This right here, I'm telling you, everybody, when we get because they're still working on it, Ms. Justice, you said the new census, they're working on the new, snap it, I'm not even showing you. I'm so sorry, everybody. Right here. They're working on this. This would be an immediate change. Our boy Clarence Thomas is making things happen. But this right here would change the entire game. Take out the do a new census. Don't have illegal immigrants included. Redo the take out the race-based districting. Redistrict the red states, and you're talking about a 50, 60, I would even say potentially 70 increase in the House of Representatives, because what you're saying, guys, this is some of the most biggest breaking news ever, that we're actually so close to making this happen, because it is 100%. We're in 2025, okay? It's not 1960 anymore. We don't have segregation. We don't have any of that stupid crap. We are in 2025. We got to move past it. No more race-based stuff. We are going to elect the best of the best. We're going to have a representation of the entire people. Black people represent 13% of the United States. 18% is represented by Hispanics. Well, guess what? The majority of people in America are white. So we got to stop acting like if we don't have half of Congress black and half of Congress white, like there's something wrong. It's literally not even in the population. This is big, big stuff, and what you're hearing now is a huge change. Glow, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said Deanna Scott said, hi, I miss everybody in the chat. Deanna Scott, you are true OG. We miss you, seeing you in the chat. Show Deanna Scott some love in the chat, as well as Glow and our boy Jim Barbato. Let's go. Show Jim, OG of the channel, member of the channel, some love in the chat.
Mid-decade census where you're taking out illegal aliens and getting the algorithm right. or just, and do our massive redistricting, which we're working on every day to get us the 21 gross amount of districts realigned or votes realigned. Coupled with this, it's a kill shot on the Democratic Party, right? I mean, there's no way they can come back from both of them, sir.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. They want congressional power to be based off of illegal aliens and DEI districts. And it's very racist what these Democrats are arguing. They are arguing that Black Americans need a Black member of Congress to represent them, right? That is racism in itself. And that's what Justice Clarence Thomas, who actually grew up dirt poor in the Deep South during Jim Crow segregation, Justice Clarence Thomas, the conservative hero of the court, that's what he pointed out to me. If you look at the breakout just based upon oral argument, it looks like you have Justice Thomas, Justice Alito, and Justice Gorsuch, my old boss, based upon their questioning today, who are going to say that you can never use race when you're considering these congressional districts. You can't have DEI districts. You may have Justice Kavanaugh, who signaled today that maybe there was a time and a place for these DEI districts, but that time and place has since gone away, like they did with affirmative action with college admissions. And it comes down to the Chief Justice and Justice Amy Coney Barrett's. It seems to me that they're largely going to get rid of these DEI districts unless there is evidence of intentional racial discrimination, which would trigger Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And I think that's the only way, if you have strong evidence of intentional racial discrimination in voting, that you're ever going to have a remedy under Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act for these race-based districts. And so I would say to the Congressional Black Caucus, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, pack your bags, because about 1/3 of you are going to lose your jobs.
What happened, or you're a court guy, what happened in the court today, either in the arguments and or the questions? Because these folks are worked up. Mark a lot, and tonight's even going to get worse because they're getting a little time to work it. But I got to tell you, coming out this afternoon, man, oh man, they are mad as hornets on this thing. Something happened. It just wasn't the way the thing was brought, as Elias lays out. But clearly, they did not have a good day on the field, sir.
And I want to show you this too, everybody. You think like this stuff that's come out, I'm not joking. Everybody is, and what I'm going to show you next is going to blow your mind, because everybody said there's no way in God's green earth that the Democrats have any leg to stand on, because they claim that it's illegal for Trump to fund WIC food program and pay troops. So you would rather not take care of children and single moms and take care of our military because Trump is using a new funds that you didn't allocate that money to. This is why we're going to see a red wave. When people, and we're spreading this news, that's why I thank you when you share these videos, when you like these videos, because these little faces right here, there are kids just like that across this nation that depend on WIC. And the Democrats are so selfish and dang greedy, they would rather see these people not get their food and try to get their slush funds to give money overseas, which we've already showed you, instead of taking care of our own citizens. That right there is why the Democrats are being destroyed every single day in the polls. That's why they're losing with the common base of America, because they don't get it anymore. Papa Don, let's go with the super chat, brother. Let's go. He said, thank you, B1 Sly One. Appreciate your efforts, brother. Y'all show Papa Don some love in the chat, member of the channel. Let's go. And I'm telling you again, the chat is family friendly. If you get crazy, you start talking crazy, you start cussing, I will block you in a heartbeat. This is a channel for the truth, not for somebody to come in and try to say whatever they want in a very unkind way. We always want to express kindness, love, compassion. We want to bring the truth and have a great time, and I will take you out of the chat if you are going against what I just said. Plain and simple. It's my channel. I can do whatever I want with it. We want the best family-friendly chat to have a good time and bring the truth.
Democrats only care about power. They don't care about Black Americans. Democrats have trapped Black Americans in fatherless homes, the failed government school monopoly, crime-ridden neighborhoods, and intergenerational poverty for decades. If these Black DEI Democrats, if these congressmen actually represented their constituents like they pretend they do, they wouldn't trap their constituents in intergenerational poverty like they've done for decades. People like Mark Elias know that they have to stir the racial pots to get people worked up, and maybe they're going to try to do the Dobbs approach where they try to scare the hell out of these justices in their homes again, like they did before the Dobbs abortion ruling, because killing babies provides the financial resources to the Democrat Party. Planned Parenthood monopoly funds a lot of the Democrat Party and the outside groups. Mark Elias and these Democrats know that if they don't have these DEI districts, they're going to lose a lot of power and a lot of money. So that there's a lot at stake for the Democrat civil rights industry and the Democrat Party more broadly.
I'm telling you, everybody, 83 to 90% of Black America votes for Democrats. And right now, Black on Black crime is the highest. It's just astronomical. We have the amount of people, the amount of black boys and girls that grow up in fatherless homes. It's heartbreaking. I hope you appreciate this, everybody. If you appreciate what we're doing, we just want the best for everybody. I don't care what you look like. But it means the world to us when you support us. If you don't mind liking the hitting the thumbs up like button, it really does help out our channel so much. But right now, people are starting to get it because people don't want this anymore. In a devastating move, NBC News fires nearly 150 staff who are responsible for Black, Latino, Asian, and LGBTQ plus coverage. This is hilarious. They tried to push forward a narrative, and now they're firing people that covered all this propaganda stuff. And it's gone so far. You're going to love what you're about to hear next, because the political landscape is about to change again. You're not going to believe what you're about to hear, everybody, because I'm telling you, the Democrats are about to replace and create their own new party, and it's not going to be called the Democrats. Jim Barbato, let's go, brother, with the super chat. Say, keep it up. I love it. Lifting the weights, man. Hey, got to get them the muscles going, right? Let's go. Show Jim Barbato some love in the chat. Listen to this.
That's why shutting the government is really what the Democratic Party wants to do. And I follow country, then party, and it's the wrong thing for the country in a period of chaos. I refuse to vote to shut our government down. I absolutely would love to have... I would love to have a conversation about extending the tax credits for health care. Absolutely. But I would remind everybody, too, this was designed by the Democratic Party to expire at the end of the year. This is not something taken by the Republicans. They were designed to expire. Now let's have a conversation to extend it and not shut our government down.
I don't think Washington understands how ticked off we truly are. Think about the conversation that we're having right now. You brought up the single-payer system, emulating Canada. You know, we're looking at a president that just gave $20 billion to Argentina. Mm-hmm. We're hearing about or witnessing what I consider to be a retribution tour. And even though, to some degree, I don't blame him because of how people went after him, still, it appears to be counterproductive. We're listening to this kind of stuff while a young man walked up to the microphone and said that he had to leave here to go and work on DoorDash to help pay for his daughter's tuition. Meanwhile, everybody up here getting paid. But he ain't. This is this kind of stuff right here That's how you know, and I'm not accusing any of you directly or personally of feeling this way. I'm just talking about the apparatus that is Washington, the nation's capital. This is why you have so many Americans, excuse my language, so pissed off at Washington, because somehow, some way, you get to have these conversations, engage in specific elements of it to talk about what we need to do to get things better. Our debt is $37.8 trillion. Somehow, some way, the taxpayer's been paying this, been throwing money, because we all look at our check, and it's been going to the government. And somehow, some way, you're supposed to be doing something constructive and productive enough to make sure that we don't have that kind of deficit. It isn't happening. A government shutdown is going on right now. A man has to work on DoorDash when he's really an air traffic controller, that we applauded. And we're up here talking about how much some money is going to cost, and the only person that don't have a check coming is him. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break.
That sounds like a next presidential candidate of the United States of America. I'm telling you, everybody, people are getting fed up with the lies. People, and I'm going to show you some facts real quick, but this right here, this is, look, I asked the percentage of children living without fathers by race in the U.S. latest statistics, okay? This is from Grok. This is from X's platform, Elon Musk's AI. 47% of black children grow up without a father. 23% of Hispanic, and 13% of white, and then 7% of Asian, okay? You want to talk about the breakdown of society? Almost half of every single dang black kid doesn't even have a dang father in the house to make sure they stay straight and do what's right. Now let's look at, what about income-wise? Oh, it just so happens that the chart flips. The people that literally have the least percentage for the fatherless homes is Asian, and guess what? They make the most money. Am I saying that fathers really do make an impact on how much money you make? You're dang straight I am. White, 81,000, 70,000 for Hispanics, and look who's the lowest. It is a cultural breakdown of the family that needs help in America. Because any percentage like this, what we're seeing here, is not good. We need two-parent households, and people are getting fed up. All this, the feminist movement, all that stuff where they pinned women against men. They try to make it so that women don't want a husband or don't need a father. And then we have a lot of deadbeat dads who don't even have a father to teach them to take responsibility. This is what's breaking down America, and we're exposing it all. And I'm telling you, what you're about to hear next is the dang truth. Jeffrey Hatt, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Said, thank you for all what you do, Joel. We love your honesty and passion. Brother, thank you so much, OG of the channel show. Jeffrey, some love in the chat, as well as our boy David Meyer with the super chat. Said, Democrat, IRS, agents, ex-girlfriend, ex-wife, politicians, Karen's next door, the paper boy when he's trying to collect his money, politicians, Karen next door, the paper boy, the electrician. Let me tell you this. They go after everybody except themselves, and they want to hold everybody accountable except themselves. You're 100% right. Show David and our boy Jeffrey some love in the chat, because what you're about to hear next, I'm telling you, we are winning with common sense.
All right. We'll go to the audience. It's good. I wanted to sit down.
Identity. Law enforcement officials throughout this country don't get the license to do that. They have to walk up to you. They have to identify who they are. They have to make sure it's clear. An ICE agent getting to conceal their identity is not a privilege or a situation that other law enforcement officials have. Why should ICE agents have that?
Look, I don't pretend. I don't particularly like the mask either, but name another law enforcement agency that's over 1,000% attacks on them.
Ooh.
And name another law enforcement agency whose spouses and children have been doxxed on social media and been attacked and bullied in churches and schools. These men and women put a gun on their hip and wear a Kevlar vest to go on the streets every day, look for the worst of the worst, makes this country safer. Them wearing a mask, if that protects them and protects their families, then that has to be done. No one, I remember the days some of these cities, if they weren't wearing a mask during COVID, you got reported to the police and got arrested for it. These men and women are trying to protect themselves and their families. And again, I don't like the mask. I wish there wasn't need for it. But there's not another law enforcement agency dealing with the attacks that ICE is dealing with right now. Look, immigration enforcement, I've been doing this since 1984. It's always been controversial. It's always been emotional. But people need to remember, the men and women at ICE, they don't hang their heart on a hook when they go to work. They're mothers and fathers, too.
Yep.
They have children, too. And they take very, very emotional things home with them every day. You know, I've done this for over 40.
And I'm telling you, you cannot beat that response. Well, law enforcement doesn't get to wear a mask and this. Yeah, but when there's over 1,000% increase in attacks on our ICE agents, we need to protect them. We need to make sure that they are safe. And common sense is winning out like never before. We're going to show our boy John Kennedy. But we got Grandma Bonnie Morris in the chat with the super chat. Let's go. Show Grandma Bonnie some love in the chat, everybody. Said the left is connecting with the one world order philosophy. One world is a horrific entity. 100%. Show Grandma Bonnie some love in the chat. She's an OG of the channel. We appreciate you and your husband so much, Grandma Bonnie. So much. Thank you so much for your support. We can't thank you enough for helping our giving. And I'm telling you, it's such a blessing because we're growing an amazing community. We're doing a lot of big things. We're bringing the truth. You're seeing stuff I promise you're not going to see on mainstream media because you need to see the truth. You need to see the context. Show Grandma Bonnie some love in the chat. And if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support.
I wonder if you have any concerns about this $20 billion bailout that the president said they would give to Argentina.
Well, Manu, I don't. And I'll tell you why. It's not a bailout. It's a currency swap line where we swap dollars for pesos. We used that extensively during the economic meltdown and the pandemic. So you're not really giving Argentina the money. You're just swapping currency to try to stabilize the peso.
Is it the right message to be doing this to a political ally? Someone seems to be rewarding the president's ally here.
Well, we've done it before. We did it during the pandemic to not only our allies, but whoever needed help. During the pandemic, the world was in a panic, every economy in every country, especially our allies in the West. And they didn't want they didn't want their own currency. They wanted American dollars, and so we've done it before. It doesn't give me pause. $20 billion is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of things, compared to our GDP, it's not that much. Number two, the political leadership in Argentina is our friend. I think the political leadership in Argentina is trying to get its country back on track. Argentina was governed by socialists for a long time. And they're having elections pretty quickly, I think in the next few weeks. And the socialists are trying to take back power. And I think the swap line will help shore up Mr. Milei. And I guess the other point I would make, it's a short-term measure. And again, we're not giving away something for nothing. We're getting their currency in return. I'm just not sure it's going to solve the problem. I think, frankly, the only thing that's going to really solve their problem long-term is for them to trade in their currency for dollars. The people of Argentina, if you go down and talk to the wonderful people down there, they have dollars that they squirrel away, hiding their mattress and hiding their safe deposit boxes. They love the American dollar. And I really think the only way we're going to help Argentina stabilize its economy is not peg the peso to the dollar, just let them convert to the dollar.
And then just these strikes that you're seeing off of the coast of Venezuela, we've seen now several of these. Does that give you any pause?
Yeah, the whole thing gives me pause. Not from the standpoint that we're doing the wrong thing. It just reinforces to me how much fentanyl and other illegal drugs are coming into this country. It's just, they're killing our people. Now, I would strongly encourage you to talk to Secretary of State Rubio. I have. He has researched this issue very carefully. He argues very persuasively, much more persuasively than I could.
But is it legal?
That it is legal. He can talk. He can talk very intelligently about the intelligence involved. Marco's not going to do something that he thinks is wrong. And
isn't this just pure common sense, everybody? That whenever it comes to protecting America, doing what's right, how hard it is for some people to understand. Just like this is a massive FAFO moment. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has now officially revoked $40 million from California because they ignored English language requirements for semi-truck drivers, okay? He said you can play all the games you want, but not at the expense of American lives. You know why it's important for people to be able to speak English that drive these big rigs? It's because every dang sign in America is in English. All the road signs. So if you don't speak the language, you don't know how to write the language, it kind of creates a problem. And I'm so thankful because Governor Newsom over here needs to be held accountable for continuing to put America last in every single one of their policies. Thomas Crosby, let's go, brother, with the super chat. Member of the channel. Show Thomas some love in the chat, everybody. And don't forget to show Alice Lewis some love. OG of the channel said, thank you, Grandma Bonnie, for helping the kids. You are great. Again, everybody, show Grandma Bonnie some love in the chat. We thank you so much for all your support. We are making a difference with this channel. It's bigger than us, everybody. That's been my plan all along, was to create something not about me. That's why you don't see my name on the channel. You don't see Joel. It's not Joel Muro's channel. It's TrueLife News. Because I wanted it to be bigger than me. And I wanted us to represent the truth and to do great things and take care of people and bring good into this world. And right now, again, the fight is just so real right now, everybody. I want you to see this. Because the more that we fight and the more it's just common sense is winning across the board. A lot of these left-wing media outlets, things are starting to change. Listen to this.
Government shutdown now in its third week. Joining us, House Speaker Mike Johnson. Mr. Speaker, thanks for coming on this morning.
Glad to be with you, as always.
It's good to see you. You know, you've done your job. I know you got a lot of opinions and comments and everything else, but this is like really not your problem. I guess it is. It's all our problem. But you sent over a bill to the Senate, and that's where Senate Democrats are not giving it the go-ahead to reopen the government.
It really is as simple as that. I mean, we passed the bill here September 19th. We did the work. We sent it over in bipartisan fashion, by the way. We did have one Democrat who had common sense enough to not shut the government down. We sent the bill over to the Senate, and now they have spiked it 9 times, okay? They've had 9 votes now. 44 Democrats over there voting down the bill, and they're exacting now real pain for real. I mean, the troops are getting paid, thankfully, because President Trump heroically stepped into the fray here, and they found a way to reallocate some funding to make sure that active duty service members got their pay yesterday on schedule. But that's a temporary fix. And all of these other programs and services, I mean, health services for veterans and, you know, nutrition programs for young pregnant women and, you know, all the things that the government does for the American people are suspended right now. Half the civilian workforce is on furlough, and we're in dire straits. And every week of a shutdown, we surrender $15 billion in gross domestic product. I mean, this is real cost for real people. They're playing political games, and it absolutely has to end. It has to end.
Mr. Speaker, we're going to have Senator Kelly on a little bit later. And I saw him yesterday saying the way that to end this, it can be ended by President Trump, I guess, giving assurances that those subsidies would be extended. I don't know whether that would be enough. I mean, Chuck Schumer, it's a $1.5 trillion wish list of stuff that he's still insisting on. Here's what's worrisome to a lot of people. If something like that were to happen and the president did say, okay, we're going to get a deal, if it's done without any reform of Obamacare, just extending these subsidies, because it's not the Affordable Care Act, it's the unaffordable Care Act, and something needs to be done for reforms. If you just did a clean extension, you might lose some of your people on the House side, and you might need Democrats to get it passed in the House, which would threaten your speakership. So you're between a rock and a hard place at this point.
Well, this is not about me. It's about the American people. Let's make something very clear. Let me predict what Senator Kelly is going to say on the show. He's going to give you a long, impassioned speech about health care and how the subsidies are so important to make sure that people don't die and all of this. Let me tell you something. This is not a health care fight. This is a very simple funding fight. It always was. They have created a red herring. The subsidies don't expire until the end of the year. We were always planning to have the thoughtful debate and deliberation over that in the month of October and November before the subsidies expired.
And I want to show you this too, because again, too, everything that you're hearing, we only show you the receipts, everybody. And when we tell you things on this channel over how much we're going to win in a red wave, what we're seeing across the board, isn't it so funny that we're able to expose now more than ever at least 100 stolen election ballots and election-related material recovered at a homeless camp in Sacramento, California. Oh, wow. So they said that you don't need photo ID because nobody steals ballots. Nobody votes that's not supposed to vote. But yet, how come? Let me tell you this. This is only the stuff that we find. But every single time, it gives credit and gives validation to the point that if we don't have free and fair elections, they get stolen every single time. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate this, y'all, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support. Melinda Johnson, thank you so much for your support. Member of the channel said, thank you, Joel, for bringing the receipts. Thank you, everyone, for your support for True Life News. Getting the job done. Keep the language clean. Amen, sister. Show Melinda some love in the chat. Sue Camelo, welcome to the family. Show Sue some love in the chat, as well as our girl, April Green, OG of the channel as well. Said, Joel, True Life News, thanks for being awesome sauce. I love it. Show April some love in the chat. We thank you for helping us so much, April. And Nadine Jones, member of the channel, said, I've been saying for decades that anyone who comes into the city needs to completely read, write, speak English. Amen. Show Nadine Jones some love in the chat, member of the channel. We appreciate y'all so much. Melinda, April, Sue, for all your help. I'm telling you, it's a revolution right now. Our voice is getting out there. Tons of people are seeing this stuff, and it does matter. Every one of this does matter because you're seeing, and I'm bringing the receipts from all sides, that even people on CNBC are saying, what the heck are the Democrats doing?
They know that. They grabbed that issue from the end of the year and pulled it back into September to try to pretend like that was the issue. It never was. Now, let me say this about the subsidies. It needs a dramatic amount of reform if indeed they're going to be extended. Because as you know, there was no income caps. You have very wealthy people getting subsidized for health care. It was a COVID-era patchwork situation that the Democrats did on their own. And by the way, they voted to put the expiration date on it at the end of 25. They did that themselves. Why? Because they knew it would have been absurd to try to extend it any further. It has driven the cost of health care up dramatically. There's no hide protections in that program. So the point is, that is a very complicated issue. We have 535 members between the House and Senate. This is a deliberative legislative body. It takes a while to find consensus on an issue that complicated. They know that. So they have grabbed onto that. It is a farce. It is a red herring. It is not the issue of today. Today, the issue is to get the government open again so that we don't hurt our economy, hurt our national security, and hurt the American people who depend upon all these services. It's plain and simple. It's as simple as you outlined at the beginning of this interview. And I hope you'll keep bringing these senators back to that simple point.
Well, there need to be things. The expiration of subsidies is one thing, but the increase we've seen in how much it costs to maintain Obamacare is significant. And Kimberly Strassel, this is a week or two ago, the government mandates and insurance subsidies have created a toxic stew of industry consolidation, inflated payments, opacity about the payments, constrained choices, and the steady erosion of better employer-sponsored plans. It's not as simple as it just extending these. Here's the other thing that I might ask the Senator, Speaker Johnson. Both sides, we know what happens in this country. Republicans have fervent beliefs about something. Democrats have fervent beliefs and deeply held beliefs about health care. So in this case, they're saying it's different this time. This is so important that we are allowed to close down the government because it's so important to us, because we want people to have health care. Republicans have issues that are just as important to them, and this opens the possibility of getting the other side through blackmail to do what they want by closing down the government. And it's hypocritical, and anything that sugarcoats it beyond, I don't see how they can look in the camera with a straight face and say anything other than that.
Do you hear what this CNBC reporter is saying? Calling out the Democrats. I'm telling you, this is common sense winning in America again. And just showing you the receipts again from the actual health insurance marketplace, everybody. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Look at how much healthcare has risen. On the very left, in orange, is how much it cost before Obamacare fully took off. Now look at what's happened and how much the government is having to subsidize healthcare costs because the overall cost has risen. Anytime the government gets involved with paying into a system, the prices go up, whether it's healthcare, whether it's the college systems. College tuition has risen exponentially. Why? Because anybody can go get a dang government loan and then go to college. Colleges get paid. Half of all college students don't even graduate. But this is the problem right here. And you just heard them call out the Democrats holding the entire government hostage. Anna D, let's go with the super chat, member of the channel. Anna, we appreciate you so much. She said, I am all for English only. I told my own mother that if they made law that you had to learn English after a certain time, I would buy my ticket and send her back. I'm not playing. She brought me here. Why not learn the language? Exactly. 100%. Show Anna some love in the chat. It is just, it's to me, why would I go into a country and feel like I'm so special that everybody has to speak the way I do when the majority of people speak a certain way? You get in line. That's just what it is. If you go to France and everybody speaks French, you speak French. Quit feeling so entitled that everybody has to change just for you. Anna, we appreciate you so much. And don't forget to show Grandma Bonnie some love in the chat, everybody. This is winning when even on CNBC, they're calling out the Democrats, everybody.
That is exactly right. And they have voted over and over and over on short stopgap funding measures like CRs. In fact, 29 out of 30 times since 2017, Chuck Schumer has voted for CRs. He voted for this exact measure in March of this year, 7 months ago, and gave impassioned speeches about how it was the only thing, the only option, regardless of all of our different preferences and opinions on legislation. Republicans care about health care. We're not just talking about it, we're doing it. In the big, beautiful bill, in the working families tax cut, we reformed Medicaid to make it work better.
But Speaker Johnson, I mean, the president and Republicans have said we're replace, repeal and replace, and it's like we're in a wilderness. Republicans are in the wilderness on what to do to try to to
No,
fix our health care
actually, we're not. We're not. We've got pages and pages and pages of ideas on how to reform healthcare. You can't rip Obamacare out at the roots. It's too deeply ingrained now, and that's the problem. No one's talking about repealing and replacing Obamacare, but we have to increase access to care, quality of care, and bring down the cost. The Democrats have demonstrated over and over the costs go through the roof when they're in charge. This was their healthcare plan, right?
Young people don't need Cadillac plans, Mr. Speaker. They don't need it, A to Z.
That's
and
right.
they're supporting the entire this behemoth that's called Obamacare.
Yes.
It's unwieldy and it's dying of its own weight.
Speaker Johnson,
you and I can talk about that for 90 minutes. Yeah.
Speaker Johnson, I'm not a fan of playing politics, of shutting down the government like this, but there are situations where you're being accused of playing politics recently, too. There was a special election that was held for Arizona more than 3 weeks ago now. The Democratic Congresswoman-elect won that special election, Grijalva. She's waiting to be seated, and now Arizona's Attorney General is threatening to sue you for taxation without representation if you don't seat her. I realize Congress is not in session, but it's been more than 3 weeks, and all the representatives in the House are being paid right now. Why can't you seat her?
Well, not all the members of the House are being paid. I think all the Republicans.
Well, some of them have chosen not to take a paycheck. They are all under law allowed to receive a paycheck, but they are saying that this is a huge amount of politics. You're using this as leverage by not seating them. And Arizona is saying this is taxation without representation.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm shocked that there's another Democrat politician from Arizona seeking publicity right now. Now the state AG's involved.
You haven't seated their full delegation.
She's going to sue me, I'm sure. No,
she's not going to sue you. The Attorney General of Arizona is going to sue you for their people not being able to be fully represented.
No, that's who I'm referring to. I know, and she wants publicity too, and it's all a farce. Let me tell you what's happening here. The Rep-elect Grijalva was elected after the House went out of session. So I have said this repeatedly. I'm delighted to administer the oath to her as soon as we get back to legislative session. The people who are preventing us from doing that, ironically, are the 2 Democrat senators from Arizona. If Gallegos and Kelly would vote to reopen the government, we'll get this thing done quickly. I'm following right now the Pelosi precedent. When my dear friend and colleague from Louisiana, Julia Letlow, in very similar circumstances, was elected to fill in a special election to fill the seat of her late husband who passed, died because of COVID. Nancy Pelosi took 25 days to administer the oath. Rep. Grijalva, won an election to take her father's seat in Congress. It's an amazing thing, and we congratulate her for that. And I'm looking forward to administering the oath, but we have to get back to work. The lights have been turned out here.
Do you see that, everybody? I'm telling you, it is mind-blowing how they're always threatening to sue. Nothing ever happens. I wanted to show you this, guys, because I'm telling you. Trump admin reportedly considering refugee system overhaul, granting priority to English speakers, white South Africans, and Europeans who oppose migration or support populist political parties. This is what the New York Times is saying. You know what? I'm actually okay with that. I'm actually okay with that. If you want to move to America, don't move to America and try to tear it down, okay? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Don't come to a country that's basically going to give you essentially everything and then try to tear it down. I hope that we prioritize MAGA individuals whenever it comes to people that want to come to the United States of America. Because when you don't, this is a chart from 2020 just to show you what really happens in Congress. Trump, before presidency, 3.7 billion net worth. After, 3 billion. He lost money. Oh, but look at Obama, 1.3 million before he got into presidency. Now he's worth 134. Clinton, 700,000. Now he's worth 243. Carter, 150. Now worth 8.5 million. So you tell me, the corruption is right in front of your face. Am I saying that they're corrupt in the way that they got their money? I'm saying that it's not coincidental that people that have no money get into Congress, and before you know it, they're worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And did they sell a business? Oh no, they seem to do really good in the stock market. Oh my goodness. Kind of makes sense, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, y'all. I'm telling you, we're bringing the receipts today. We just got some more breaking news over what's going on with the unelected bureaucrats and the amount of money that they want to do and pay for their slush funds. And if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. Listen to this.
President Trump is permanently eliminating many of these non-essential positions as part of our reduction in force, or RIF. So here are some of my suggestions for getting rid of the riffraff with a RIF. First up, eliminate the positions of federal employees and contractors who weren't even working before the government shutdown. While millions of Americans have 2 or more jobs to make ends meet, these federal employees aren't working at all. There are dozens of national laboratory employees with nothing to do who spend the workday catnapping or playing cards and games.
Wow.
To pass time, one of them started journaling. One of his entries reads, quote, "Did nothing all day today, over 10 hours in here." The following day he wrote, quote, "I do hope to play another good game of chess." They're not the only ones with nothing to do. A Department of Energy contractor actually filed a complaint that he was getting paid for work he wasn't doing. So good on him, at least he's honest. For years, he and his co-workers have been spending their time looking for things to do, watching Netflix and taking naps. He says he is, quote, "begging for work," adding, "I can't believe I'm getting paid to do nothing." If federal employees can't even justify their own salary, how can anyone else? I've also uncovered bureaucrats who are holding several different government jobs simultaneously, but aren't doing any of them. For example, a full-time HUD employee was being paid for 2 other full-time, got this, folks? Okay, she was being paid for 2 other full-time government contractor jobs. So that's 3 full-time jobs in total. She frequently billed taxpayers for working more than 24 hours in a single day. Gosh, if I could find more than 24 hours in a day.
I hope you heard that, everybody. That a HUD employee was also billing for additional hours, over 24 hours sometimes in a day. Over 24 hours worked in a day. It's not even possible. And nobody's caught this. Nobody says anything. This is the stuff that they do not show you on mainstream. We show you here in TrueLife News how corrupt the dang government is and why it matters that we clean up the dang system.
That would be pretty extraordinary. But this woman was paid $225,000 for hours she never worked in nearly 3 years. 3 full-time jobs, people. Not working any of them. This isn't an isolated case either. I've introduced my Double Dippers Act to cross-check paychecks and payrolls to identify and stop bureaucrats from double billing taxpayers for work they're not even doing. Okay, don't laugh. This is true here. There are plenty of other non-essential jobs that can be eliminated immediately, beginning with the multitude of gimmicky government mascots. I'm not talking about Smokey the Bear, okay? Not talking about Smokey the Bear, but rather the other costume characters you've probably never even heard of, like the National Park Service's Lupe, the ringtail, who is so frightening that Lupe makes children cry. Allie Skywarn. Oh, I'm sure you've all heard of Allie Skywarn with the National Weather Service. Another Park Service mascot, Riley the Roadrunner. Puddles the Blue Goose with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And everybody's favorite, Franklin the Fair Market Fox from HUD. I say let's furlough these fur balls forever.
I'm not joking. You can't make this crap up, everybody, that we literally, I didn't even know we had government mascots. Like, it doesn't make any sense, everybody. But the big news today, 2,100 indictments coming from Operation Summer Heat from Kash Patel. We're holding people accountable, everybody. Excuse me, Nadine Jones. Let's go. Say young people just joining the workforce need to learn. They can't always start at the top of the corporate ladder. People don't want a job, they want a position. 100%. Bust your butt, work hard, and earn your way up. Show Nadine Jones some love in the chat. Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button. If you're not a part of the family yet, please consider joining our family here at TrueLife News. We want to serve you every day with the top news. Remember, we show you things you do not see on mainstream media. It matters. Getting the full context. And remember, when you give a super chat or you're a member, on the 22nd of every single month, we're donating live on stream to a local charity with your support. Want us to give some special love to Grandma Bonnie Morris in the chat, everybody. Show Grandma Bonnie some love. Ginger Studinsky, David Meyer, Jim Barbato, OG of the channel, Sue Kamala, Glow, Papa Don, Jeffrey Hatt, David Meyer, Thomas Crosby. Show them some love in the chat. Our girl Alice Lewis, April Green, helpers of the channel with likes, Melinda Johnson. Thank you so much for your support. Show Melinda some love in the chat, as well as Nadine Jones and our girl Anna. Show Anna and Nadine some love in the chat. Thank y'all so much. Gail Richard for joining the family. We're growing, everybody. Things are happening. Thank you for sharing our videos on X and Facebook. And don't forget, if you're on Medicare, we're open enrollment right now, guys. Go get yourselves taken care of. Get ahead of the line. This is free. If you're on Medicare, call Chapter. They compare every single Medicare plan. They save seniors on average $1,100 a year. They're going to take care of you. I promise. We have had literally people on this channel save hundreds and hundreds of dollars a year. One person saved $1,400 a year on this channel, everybody. You call them up at 667-895-3015 or go to the link in the description. But you tell them Joel sent you from TrueLife News. They're going to take care of you. And I'm telling you, we got to stick together. We got to help each other out. It's free, and we're going to win together. I love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.